MTN. Everywhere you go.
MTN together with MTV Base are making dreams come true. We're taking young people from all over Africa and giving them the opportunity to meet their heroes and ask them anything they want. MTV Base Meets with MTN, using the leaders of today to inspire the leaders of tomorrow. Before Richard Branson became Sir Richard Branson, he was just an ordinary kid from a small suburb in England called Surrey. He left school at 16 to start a magazine called Student, then later started a record company called Virgin, which went on to sign legends like the Sex Pistols. He then went into aviation and started Virgin Airlines. So one brave decision at a time, Sir Richard Branson began taking over the world. And now that he owns a little piece of it, he's using his power to give back, mainly through his Virgin Unite Foundation. Let's meet the 5 young Africans who got to chat to their hero in person.
My name is Arnold Sarfo-Kantanka. I'm into community development and I'm from Kumasi, Ghana. On a day-to-day, I work for a charity called Working with Men. I support young fathers under the age of 25, whether it's them getting into education, them finding employment, or their relationship with their partner.
I'm Lil Simz. I'm a rapper / recording artist. I'm 17 years old and I'm from Nigeria. Peace. I'm 17 and I've released my first mixtape last year. Now I'm in the process of making my second one. One of my producers, Inflo, he's currently living in LA. He just recently done Jordan Sparks' new single, I Am Woman. It's like an A star times A star equals double A star, yeah.
My name is Sarah Clavel. I'm studying finance and business and I'm from Ivory Coast.
My mom is Moroccan, my dad is French, but he was born in Ivory Coast and raised there most of his life. I was born in Ivory Coast. I moved several times to Togo, Morocco, France, and ultimately here. When I moved to London, it was the first time I stayed in Europe for like more than the holidays. So it was a culture clash, a complete culture clash. I used to be in a school where I was the only white person. And I go to a school where there were, 4 other black people in the whole school. And some of them had never lived in Africa, basically.
I want to be like involved, basically. I want to make Ivory Coast the country it was when he was president.
My name is Belinda. I'm a student and a poet, and I come from Zimbabwe. I'm studying politics and international relations. I've always been interested in politics and current affairs since I was quite young. Just before I came here, that's when I started really getting interested in Zimbabwean politics. Around the time I was 11, 12, and there had just been an election, and I remember being really dismayed that the party I wanted to win didn't win. I don't know why I wanted them to win, but it just sort of broke my heart, and it made me want to be active, and I didn't know how, except for studying this and maybe going back and using this degree as a way to sort of help rebuild the country.
I'm Ola Masha. I'm a filmmaker and I'm from Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria, Lagos. I write for stage, for theatre, and I write about issues that affect me as a black man and as a Nigerian. And I guess, my story, I want to share it with the world and let people understand what people like me feel and go through. I'm very excited about, the possibility of having my work in the West End or in Broadway, or even like a small community theatre in Nigeria somewhere, and having, my people like really celebrate my work.
Thank you very much. So as I'm sure you guys can tell from the cab, I'm in London this time. We've selected our 5 panelists from all over Africa, and it's almost time to meet Sir Richard Branson.
I want to meet Richard Branson because I think he's a very inspiring man.
He left school when he was 16, he's dyslexic, and he still managed to do a lot for himself because he knew what he wanted and he was passionate about it, and he had enough drive to carry that through.
He's done everything. This guy, like, he sets no limits.
Well, he's obviously crazy and obsessed, but he's now one of the best crazy obsessed person you could meet.
Imagine meeting one of the most influential entrepreneurs in this world and them advising you on business.
So today on MTV Base Meets, we're sitting with a gentleman who's actually been around the world in a hot air balloon, across the English Channel, in a Gibbs Ecuador, ran his first marathon at the age of 60, and he's got a collection called The Elders. He goes by the name of Sir Richard Branson. How's it going, sir?
It's very good. All good. Better to see you lot.
Well, welcome. One question I always like to start off with when I meet people is, what is it like as a kid for Richard Branson?
What was it like as a kid?
Yeah. Or what were you like as a kid?
What was I like as a kid? Well, I used to climb a lot of trees. When I was asked what I wanted to do when I grew up, I said I want to climb trees and rescue cats.
But then you went into business at a very, very young age. In fact, you started a magazine, I think, at 16. Am I correct?
Yeah, I left school when I was 15, 16 to start a magazine.
Yeah.
And the Vietnamese War was going on. There were a lot of things happening in the world that young people didn't agree with. So we thought if we could start a magazine run by young people to campaign on issues we felt strongly about, that it would be a worthwhile thing to do. Didn't have any money, so
how do you go about that? Like, first of all, you're extremely I think you're too young to get any sort of business plan put together.
I literally worked out of the school phone box selling advertising for the magazine in order to fund the magazine, and I managed to persuade enough, people like Coke and other people to give us a few adverts, which helped me fund the magazine. We ran the magazine from a basement. We all got paid the same. There was a lot of free love, and actually nothing's really changed. And the magazine, the young people liked it. It took off. It became very popular, and it paid the bills. And we organised big marches against the Vietnamese War. We marched on the American embassy with Vanessa Redgrave, and we just managed to get thousands of young people together to try to campaign to stop what was a very unnecessary, very horrible war.
I'm passionate about life. I love people, and people inevitably inspire me to write films and make films. So that's what keeps me going. And that's why I find Richard Branson very interesting, because when he started off, he was just, a punk rocker, essentially. He loved life. He found what he enjoyed, and then he used that to spur a massive business. And, he made a success out of himself because he just had that, fight and spirit. How did you start off Virgin Records? What was your motivation back then? And then how did the name come about?
The name came about, I was just sitting, I was 16, 17 years old, sitting around with a bunch of girls, and we were just joking about what we could call the record company, and somebody said, why don't we call it Slip Disc Records? Because in those days you had the big vinyl records and they used to keep slipping. And then somebody else said, we're all virgins, why don't you just call it Virgin? And everybody laughed. And so we decided to call it Virgin. We weren't actually planning to start a record company, but a young artist of 15 years old came with his music. He played all the instruments himself.
So it's Mike Oldfield back.
Mike Oldfield, exactly. He'd been to every record company and nobody would put it out. And I took him to one or two record companies and nobody would put it out because it didn't have any vocals on it. So we decided to set up our own little record company to put his music out, and it just took off and became a very big record. So we got lucky, and sometimes when you're building businesses you need a bit of luck, and that was our lucky break.
In 2008, while studying at university, came up with an idea to showcase my identity, my roots. And I'm from Ghana, but I didn't find anything out there which kind of represented me in a cool, funky, fresh, creative way. I started MEETS Ghana when I was in university. It was just an idea, just searching for identity whilst I was in the UK to promote the Ghanaian roots, my heritage. And before I knew it, I realized that a lot of other people had the same kind of idea. Let's create a brand that can breed influence, that can give people a voice, and people that share the same dream and passion for us about our country. So we started a business, and since then we've joined forces and built a team. We're opening up the doors for a lot of young people to volunteer in Ghana and give back and connect them with Ghana. So the strapline is connecting the world with Ghana. Well, as a budding entrepreneur myself with the MEETS Ghana business we've started, what kind of advice do you have for other young people out there that want to make their dreams a reality?
I think you got to think. What does entrepreneur mean? Entrepreneur means coming up with an idea that's going to help make a difference to other people's lives. So can you create something that's going to make other people's lives better? So if you come up with an idea that where you really think you can make a difference to other people's lives, you can do it better than it's been done by other people, then I think you have a chance of becoming an entrepreneur and building a business. And then I think just give it a go. I've got a phrase I use a lot: just screw it, let's do it.
Absolutely.
And if you fall flat in your face, pick yourself up again and you try again. And I mean, you won't be a true entrepreneur unless you've had failures and you've tried things that haven't worked. If you keep trying, in the end, I'm sure you'll succeed. You'll learn from trying.
Oh.
And good luck.